Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. Hey, this is Sister Nayyirah with the Heal on Purpose podcast hosted by the Repair of the Black Family. And I am your host, Sister Nayyirah, transformational life coach, speaker, and author. Today, I am here to help bring forth another powerful person that's going to help us with our purpose as it relates to healing on purpose. As you know, right here, the Heal on Purpose podcast, our focus is to help to eradicate trauma, limiting beliefs, and self-sabotaging behavior patterns. And so today I'm very honored to have my guest, Dijah Muhammad, who is the owner and founder of Dijah Bakes. Dijah Muhammad was born in the city of Tampa, Florida. She is an organic baker. Ooh, I can't wait to show her stuff, y'all. It's going to be off the chain. She's an organic baker. She was inspired by her mother. Come on now, like mother, like daughter. She's an author and she's an influencer. And I mean, that's her bio. However, she is like my little niece. And I'm telling you, I am so proud of her. So today, as I bring forth my guest, please make sure you have a pen, a pencil. Make sure you got you some coffee or some tea tonight so that you can be able to sit tight with my guest, Dijah, the owner and founder of Dijah Bakes. Dijah, come on in, girl. Welcome. Now, I gave a brief bio. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to see you looking all good and everything.
Reflection of you. Happy to be here.
Yes, ma'am. Now, Dijah, I pretty much gave like a short bio of you. What is it that? Well, let's go here. How do you show up in the world in present time? Like, how do you show up? What is it that you want the audience to know about you and how you show up in present time?
Well, peace, everybody. My name is Dijah, also known as Dijah Bakes. I show up in the world. I strive to be myself as much as possible. I am a believer in God, a Muslim, a member in the Nation of Islam. I am a baker. I mean, I do bake, but I always wanted people to know me outside of just baking, although that's a passion of mine. I believe in my purpose is in serving the youth. So I'm an author. I teach children how to bake and with their mothers, and I just strive to be the best that I can and show up in the world, as that way as God's girl. So
I know that's right, Dijah. You said something very powerful. And by the way, for the listener audience, let me just say this: the show is called The Journey, and it's about healing in business. And as I was just listening to you, even in your intro, you said something very powerful. You said, I show up as myself, right? And in this day and time, it's very difficult, I would say, to see people show up as they self, especially when there's a lot of imposter syndrome that's out here, right? Yeah. And so when I look at healing, one of my indicators, even starting with myself, is like authenticity. Like, am I being true to me? Yeah. So in a world that we're living in, and how old are you, Dijah?
28.
28. You're 28 years old. In a world that we're living in and we're looking at authenticity as it relates to healing, has there ever been a time that you didn't show up as yourself? And if so, why?
I would say for the most part, I kind of have. I've been very vocal online in regards to my personal healing journeys or just things that I've been through. Because I don't like the facade of everything is always good when things don't be good. And this saying of life ain't always sweet, which is something that I want to further push, but in the right timing. But life ain't always sweet, meaning that hopefully, of course, we want that sweet ending, but life just not always that fairy tale type thing that we see. And as a young child, it was hard for me to come with the reality of the world and the pain of the world and things like that, because it's that facade of things are good when, there are times where it's just hard. So I say that's my answer.
That's very powerful. And is it something that you would like to share to our listening audience, like something that you went through? Like you said, you had to basically come to grips with the world. What would be that one thing that you could look back over your childhood and it was like, oh my gosh, like this, I just don't know if I can deal with it, but you overcame that. Is it that one thing?
Yes. I mean, for me to have Dijah Bakes and the discovery of my business and me wanting to be an entrepreneur and have a business for myself, it started really with me not knowing what I wanted to do in life. I mean, growing up, I wanted to be different things. I had different career choices, from teaching to wanting to be a cardiologist to wanting to be a neonatal nurse, and all these different things that I wanted to be. But really the root of it was always to help the youth. So I didn't know it at the time, but over time, after really like I got to my breaking point where it's like, why am I even here? What am I doing? What am I supposed to be doing? Like just the pain of the world was just too strong that it's just like, I don't know why I'm here anyway. So I did battle with suicidal thoughts and those things. And I just remember like knowing my name, of course, Khadijah, and the power of my name, and just thinking like there has to be more for you to do in this world. And I just remember praying to Allah, God, and asking him, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, what is my purpose? Why am I here? And really asking him. And it didn't come overnight, but it helped me move in the direction where I was waiting for that answer. So, some time had passed, and I just eventually kind of realized that, baking, I actually lived in Atlanta at that time, and I seen entrepreneurship on a whole nother level from where I live here in Tampa. It's a smaller city. And I just see nothing but Black people, there being successful. And I'm like, I know I can do this. I could do this. So I had started a cleaning business originally. And again, I wanted to create a business to help the youth. Anything that I ever wanted to do was with the youth in mind, because of my childhood of growing up and just wanting that big brother, big sister type thing. And I was the oldest child. And I always think about my younger siblings, and what they have to come, what they come behind me, what they see, so just being an example for them and then for my future children. But basically, once I made that prayer, I was doing the cleaning business. I learned how to bake from my mom a couple years back. She just taught me. I would make cakes for.
Wait, hold on. We're gonna get into that because you done said so much so powerful. We're gonna get into the business. I just want to kind of go back to this healing because you said, okay, you was at a point in your life. I just want me and the listening audience to get this, right? And you all please make comments. Let us know how this is serving you. Because this is a very powerful story. So you was at a point in your life in your childhood where you just trying to figure it out. You just trying to, here's the big question for everyone that's listening. What is my purpose, right? And we're living in a dispensation of time. Thank God you had enough fortitude to ask that question in your younger years, because I work with people 50, 60, 70, and they still don't know purpose in life. So what seemed to be a challenge was actually your power, right? Mm-hmm. To ask yourself a powerful question. What am I doing here? And the mind is like this, right? When you ask yourself a powerful question, the mind will actually search that out, right? It will search to find the powerful solution. So we can see how what you was going through, you actually came up with your own solution and a powerful solution. But in between you actually asking the question and really getting the resolve, you had an in-between. And I don't know who's listening, because you might be at an in-between in your life right now. But you was in that dark space, Sister Khadijah, and you're having these thoughts of suicide. That's rough, right? What was I heard you say you said a prayer. What did it take you to come from that darkness into the light?
The light. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He is the light in my life. He definitely hearing his words and being able to hear his voice during a time where it was, like you're saying, nothing but darkness, but nothing but Allah. God, through him, was able to reach me. I called my mom. We have all these different outsourced that and I mean, let's be real, Allah is God, and we know that Allah speaks to us through human beings. And my mother's, I heard his voice wherever I looked. I would look for God's voice and the people who would give me words of encouragement or advice through these dark times. But in moments where it's like, sometimes not even your own, the voices or the things that you're hearing from certain people just may not hit the same, where it's like, I need to hear God's voice. And I heard nothing but God when I hear, the words of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, when I was intentionally trying to hear God's voice. And growing up, I grew up in the Nation of Islam. Of course, I know God, and I know, my spirituality has always been there, but I don't think that I had a moment like that moment when I was in the darkness, wanting to not be here anymore, where I had to be even more intentional about calling on God. That was like my first, I guess, in a way, like real hard time. I was in my teenage years. Actually, I was like about 20 years old. So, yeah, just not knowing the direction of where I'm supposed to go. And he was that light for me. The teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Come on. Oh my gosh, that is so powerful. Like my heart is filling up with tears because, as a parent and raising your children, the scriptures say, raise a child in the way that they shall go, and they shall never depart. If they do, they will come back. So I said all of that to say this: you had the voice of God instilled in you. And so when your cup was empty, because I know my cup has been empty, you didn't have to pull on your own strength. You had something there, and that was the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So faith is important, and faith without works is dead. So I'm hearing in your story that you had to literally put your faith in the works, right? You had to pull and draw on that which was embedded in you. And so another point that I heard you say, and I hope that the audience is getting something out of this, is that you had to go through your own personal individual trial. Your mama could help you, your dad could help you, the belief, nobody could help you but the voice of God. And that goes back to trials purified. So would you say that in those times was your purification to arrive to where you are now?
Absolutely. I didn't understand it that way back then, but now that with more years of experience in life and more years to experience, inshallah, but oh my God, yes, I have grown a deeper kind of love in a way with pain or trials, knowing that there's something greater to come out of it. Like it's temporary, and I didn't have the right perception in regards to pain. It was just like, it's too hard, I'm ready to check out. It's too hard, I gotta go, and not saying that I'm perfect now, but I have grown to understand, okay, I'm going through pain right now. What can I get from this? How can I put this pain to work? That's been my initial. Put that pain to work, So
y'all need to write that down. Put that pain to work, okay? Write it on your notes. Write it in the comments. Put that pain to work. You make me think about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, where on the 19, I believe it's 96 or 97 statement, he said, where there's no pain, there's no growth. And where there's no growth, there's no pain. So we got to extend our threshold of pain to experience or exceed our growth, right? So the bottom line is, if you are in a painful situation, it's an opportunity to grow. And you was able to take that opportunity, and now you see in your life how you could take the opportunity to use that pain to grow. And that's wisdom. A lot of people cannot recognize. Sometimes we look at pain as punishment. And it can be, because your own hands can wrought some things, okay? So, so thank you for sharing that. And as we're talking about this healing aspect, I know that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan gave us a tool Dianetics, which is the modern science to mental health. And did you take advantage of that? Like, as you was going through your suicidal thought, let me ask you, what did you do?
So I did.
Outside of what you already said, I'm sorry, I'm not invalidating what you said. I'm definitely highlighting that. But what else did you do? Anything else? Did you use the tool?
I did. I actually used some of your services. You actually was definitely an inspiration in regards to getting into Dianetics. As you said, we were told by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, advising us to use the tool. And you definitely have been a woman who I see that, uses the tool and have inspired me to be intentional on my healing and start my healing journey. I believe you're one of the ones I actually started my healing journey with, which was just 2020. So that was about 3 years ago. I'll never forget calling you up when I was going through a certain situation. So I didn't necessarily start the suicide healing right away with my thoughts. It was more so I had ended up getting in a domestic violence situation, which I was like, I gotta heal from this. I know that I can't take this, mindset or whatever. I didn't want to be a victim. I knew I was a victor, and I just wanted to be able to get past that, which started the healing journey for everything else. Because as you go through life, you're going through so many things. So, and I'm still on that healing journey. But Dianetics has been a tool that I use. I did do the first book, which I plan on getting back into it. And God willing, I'll be an auditor because of healing. That's the goal for sure. But just I just went to therapy on Monday. So I'm still in therapy. I still get in groups where I can find techniques and ways to keep my mind as clear, as possible. And that's where I'm at on my healing journey.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. One of the things that you said, that's where my healing journey began. And I always like to tell people, that healing is not a moment. It's a journey. And sometimes we think, okay, now I dealt with that. Now, why am I still? No, because, that pain comes in many different aspects. One thing can have different sides to that pain. And so we have to have the ability and the willingness, even if we don't have the ability, but the willingness to face it.
That's
right. That's for me, and my understanding and going through my own personal healing journey and helping people with healing is like the first thing. Yes, you have intention, but are you willing to face it, confront it, be willing to experience it? And so I would say, for anyone that's out there, when you truly want to get in that space of healing, you got to have, come on, Khadijah, listen to this, courage. You got to have some courage. You got to be willing to fight through this, right? And so you said, you was going through a domestic violence type situation, and a lot of young girls, just women in general and men, right, in general, face in this time period we're in are facing domestic violence, or they're in relationships where there's a lot of domestic violence. What was the indicator for you to be like, you know what, this is happening and I'm getting out? And what suggestion or advice would you tell a person that's in that situation?
That's a good question, because I don't think I thought about this.
Okay.
However, the indicator for me, it started really emotionally before it got to the physical aspect. And I tried to leave prior times before, but then I decided that I was going to stick it through. And then it ended up being physical, which it took one time for me, because that one time was enough for me to know that I'm not going to deal with this again. But it wasn't easy, I would say, to leave and to really wrap your mind around the fact it's when you love someone. And I thought it would be easier, like, okay, it happened physically, but it wasn't just that easy. Like, okay, I'm done for real. I really had to be intentional with me saying, I am not going to accept this. Like, this is it. This was one and done. And I have to stand on my word for myself, blocking all communication, whatever was needed for me to really end the relationship and end for me, going back. Because I already was aware of the signs, the red flags, as they say, was already there. So I would say to anyone, just once you see it, believe it. It's real, and I think that sometimes, for me, just kind of accepting a person for who they are until they really show you who they are, but you already knew who they were before. It's like before they even really had to show you, you had an indication. There's something in your spirit, something that warning sign. You got the warning signs before the actual where you had to get out or really run out. So my advice would be just pay attention to the signs and act on the signs for you, not the other person. Worry about self and what's really best for you. So.
Absolutely. Thank you, Khadijah. That was really powerful. As you were speaking, the quote from Maya Angelou came up: is when a person show you who they are, believe them the first time. Okay. And that takes emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
You were saying like emotionally, it started emotionally. And when we get in our feelings, it's hard to break away, and, the minister has to study God, rising above emotions into the thinking of God. The trial is in the rise. Come on now. The trial is in the rise. So if you're listening to this, I believe it takes a support system. You got to know who to go to. You got to know who to talk to. You got to know, what works for you, because what works for you may not work for me, and it's always good to have those praying friends, that praying family member, that one that's not going to give into, this is me saying this. Maybe you could, shed light, but that person that's not going to give into my weakness because they're my friend or they're my mom, or, they're going to hold the standard, they're going to hold the bar of righteousness.
Right.
And don't coddle weakness. And I believe that that's what helped me. I went through a domestic violence situation at one point in my life, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what helped me. It was actually my grandmother. May, God be pleased with her. She's gone. It was this one phrase that, I'm not saying I didn't have help, but it was this one thing that she said, because I didn't want to leave my previous marriage because of my children. And then my grandmother was like, baby, let me tell you something. She was like, you're not going to be the first woman to leave your husband, and you're not going to be the last. Mm-hmm. It's time for you to get out. And she was telling the truth. She loved my first husband. So it wasn't no hate. It wasn't no shade. She was just telling me what was best for me at that time. And now, 2023, it was the best for me.
Right.
So when you're on your healing journey, you got to be able to hear the best for you, mm-hmm. and be able to act upon the best. Make a decision, hear it, decide, and then act. Okay, that's a framework. Right. You got to hear the truth, decide on the truth that it is true, and then act upon the truth. And so I know I don't have a lot of time with you, Khadijah, so I'm going to kind of transition this conversation. But, I want to say that as a young woman, you have a lot of wisdom. And that wisdom has come through your experiences. And I just want to congratulate you on where you are, for having what I would call the awakening of self. And you just didn't stop, right? You didn't say, okay, like, I'm out of there, okay, that's good. But you continued on. And I see how when you said I took that pain and I turned it into a passion and I turned it into my purpose. Now we're going from the healing, taking that healing into furthering a business. Tell me about that.
Mm-hmm. So I will pick up kind of at the end of where I was saying about the cleaning business. I had to basically choose. My mom, I'm going to go there. My mom taught me how to bake a cake. And we just baked a cake one day. A lot of people, her friends and families wanted cake. She was just giving it for free. I'm like, no, we need to be making money off this. And so I would bake cakes and I would take it to work. I would cut them in slices and I'll sell them right there. I worked at a call center at the time. And people were buying them. So it was just like a little side hustle. I didn't take it serious. I baked pound cake for 5 years. I knew how to bake a pound cake for 5 years. And before I decided that I was going to learn how to bake other things to make a business. So I'll never forget, I had the cleaning business that I had. I was baking. I was doing everything to not work a job. So I was just doing a couple like network marketing. I did a couple things where I was striving to be, you know, just entrepreneur. But then it was just like, I'm doing too many things at one time. I'm everywhere. So I said, you know what? Somebody told me, they advised me, actually a brother in the nation. He is like, you're doing a lot, basically. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to focus on one thing. And I chose baking. And I chose baking because I was good at it. It came natural to me. I felt good knowing that, you know, the things that I was baking was making people happy, knowing that I wanted to bake differently than the normal baked goods that you find in the store or other people, like using organic sugar or using, you know, organic products, because we already know sweets and desserts is not the healthiest thing, of course. So just wanting to move in that realm with, you know, some purpose, and then knowing that I love children, wanting to teach children and their mothers how to bake and helping them bond through baking. So
beautiful. So let me ask you this. Wow, that's powerful. So let me ask you this. I have two questions as it relates to this business. What was one of your struggles in starting your business, and how did you overcome?
um hmm.
Or maintaining? Because I know it's a thing to maintain too, sister.
So I'll speak on the maintaining more
Okay.
so, because I think when I started my business, I was just so like, I never thought that everything had to be all together to start a
Yeah.
business. I was just going as the thoughts came, as what I
Yeah.
felt like I should be doing. I just did it. So, like I literally just made a post about me writing out my menu to actually getting a flyer made of my menu to, you know, now I have a website. So just taking things in stages. When I started, I never really expected, you know, too much, because I'm starting up and I don't know that much. So I just kind of went with the flow. But maintaining business, the struggle, I would say, for me, that I learned last year or like a year ago, was like really maintaining finances and maintaining your mental. If you're not good and you're trying to run a business, let it go, because
Let
you
it
need
go.
to be mentally able to be
Yeah.
able to run a business, because realistically it reflects you. So and which is why a part of why I wanted to, you know, heal and get on that healing journey, because I'm like, when I'm not good, I don't want to operate, and I can barely, you know, want to do my business. And I'm the type of baker that if I'm not feeling good mentally, whatever I feel, I'm not gonna put that energy into what I'm baking. I'm just not gonna do it to sell to someone. So yeah.
Wow. Girl, I feel you. I feel you on all of that. And so, yeah, it's definitely a challenge to maintain. So as a business owner, I see that for me, I have to always have education, right? To just
Mhm.
keep myself relevant in my business, right? Because times are changing, people are growing, and you got to, you got to always be present with the present time.
That's right.
So in your business as a baker, do you put yourself in a process where you are continuously learning new styles? Like what is it like? What is your successful action to stay present?
I love that question. To stay present, I would say, because so much is changing, that definitely education is key. Whether like I have different social media platforms, so learning social media platforms, having the motivation, and just being able to stay consistent. Learning different recipes or learning ways of how I can incorporate something new, a new dessert, or which my most recent is my peach cobbler pound cake. So, you know,
Okay.
just investing time into wanting to grow. I actually plan on this year as well getting into more schools. So my focus right now is to do more speaking engagements and actually get into like, I never been a public speaker for real. So getting more into like public speaking and learning, because I want to be able to use my voice more. So the more that you grow as a person, it's important that you educate in different realms of your business as you're learning yourself. your business will take you in different, avenues of wherever your eventual, where you really want to end up. So I always say the baking is it's just helping me get to where I really want to go.
Awesome. And yeah, you said a whole thing about that social media, because you are an influencer. And I definitely want you to give everyone your information on how they can contact you at the end. And this is going to pretty much be wrapping up my questions for you, because I know we have to go. I hate to get off, but we got to go. My next question to you, sister, is this. I just want to put this on the screen as you answer this question. What as a baker, Dijah Bakes, looking at your stuff, what separates you from the other bakers out here?
So I am an organic baker. I specifically make sure that my products are soy-free, that they are high fructose corn syrup free, that they are pork free, that they are nut free, like basically people who suffer allergies. However, I do cater to those who are vegan, gluten-free, sugar-free upon special, requests. So this particular cake here, actually, that is showing on the screen, is my strawberry crunch cake, which many people may know that strawberry shortcake ice cream.
Come on.
Basically, with that ice cream, it has like red 40, it has different dyes and things in it. And don't get me wrong, I used to love that ice cream growing up. And now they make it into a cake, but they put like the dyes and stuff in the actual strawberry cake. So I would go to the grocery store, sidebar. I would go to the grocery store and I would read the ingredients of like a carrot cake. You don't see even carrots as an ingredient. I would see strawberry cake. You wouldn't even see like the strawberry per se, like as an ingredient. So I just wanted to make sure that my things were as natural as possible. So with this strawberry cake, you got the strawberry cake. It's made with nothing but real fruit. You have the cheesecake with the strawberry topping, and then organic graham crackers. So just even everything that I make is slightly different from what you would see, because of the fact that I bake natural as possible.
And you put a lot of love in it, because I'm gonna tell you, sister, this cake is amazing. It's beautiful. The presentation of it is good. I mean, just everything that you said. But my husband loves them chocolate chip cookies. Okay, I never really see my husband get excited about other people's food, but you and my mama, girl, he love them cookies. Okay. So I just want to say, like, your love is felt in your baking. So as you all look at this screen, and if you're listening to the podcast, please go to DijahBakes.com. She does ship. Am I correct? You ship?
Yes, I do.
She ships around the world. And I can attest to that her food is just, her baking is just amazing. So yeah, we're gonna go to Dijah Bakes. What is the item that you promote the most? What would you say out of all of your stuff, like, this you gotta have? You gotta have this.
So I'm going to start with the pound cake, because that obviously is where I started in my mom's recipes. So the pound cake for sure. Gotta have the carrot cake. Gotta have what's on the screen, the strawberry crunch cake. Gotta have the peach cobbler pound cake. Gotta have everything Dijah Bakes. Yes, everything made with love, care, and a prayer.
Okay, listen. When I say the most honorable Elijah Muhammad teach us how to do for self, you took it and ran with it. Yes. When I tell you I love the MGT and GCC class, the Muslim Girls Training and General Civilization class, where we learn how to cook, you took it and you applied. So I just want to thank you for being an example of a young woman that's in alignment with God and his way. Thank you for your trials. Thank you for your struggles, girl. And thank you for being vulnerable and transparent on the Heal on Purpose. I want to encourage you to continue to stay on the journey, face the journey, and expand. You know, there's big fields that await you. Yes. And every step, every word is a prayer, but every thought is a prayer too, right? Mm-hmm. So just keep your vision out front. You know, I like to say this: hold the vision and make it real. Mm-hmm. Okay, you're gonna make it. And so, with that being said, Khadijah, what is next for you?
What's next for me? I gave y'all a little sneak peek. I
Okay.
told y'all in regards to me wanting to speak more. So currently, right now, I am working on getting into more schools, and
Okay.
so that way I can share my testimony and really give back to the youth. Again, the youth is my heart. I love the younger people because they come up behind us, and that's why I strive to be an example and use the things that I've been through and my pain to help reach back to, someone else. And so getting into schools, also going to get into Dianetics or inshallah, God willing, becoming an auditor. Just being in the mental health realm because it's so real and I'm seeing that more and more in this time and just wanting to have a tool to be able to help, to help those, and especially knowing of the mental challenges or mental things that I have been through, just being able to know how to help even myself, but help others. That's to me what it's about. Not the things that we learn, the things that we go through is not just for ourselves, but it is to help others because we are all connected. So
Absolutely. And so we have your website here. Thank you for that. We have your website, dijahbakes.com. You definitely can go on and subscribe to her website to stay connected. Is there any social media handles that you would like to give as well?
Dijah Bakes on
Okay.
everything.
Dijah Bakes on everything, on everything.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, Dijah Bakes.
Okay, Dijah Bakes, y'all gotta go hit my sister up. And last but not least, Sister Dijah, you did not say your name of your book, and you got a baby doll.
Yes. So
what's the name of the
book? The name of my book is Dijah Bakes Her First Cake. And it's for children. It's a children's book and it has coloring pages at the end, but it's about the story of Dijah baking a cake with her mom. And for her dad. So it's very cute, just something that I kind of came up with that I wanted to do. And that's another thing that I'm in the works of writing. I'm still writing my book. I've been writing this for about 3 years now. So by the time it's released, God willing, it will be definitely worth the wait. And behind me, actually, is my doll, my Dijah
Oh,
doll.
y'all, look at the dog. Got the chills.
Y'all
Yes,
know I'm very serious about the youth. Like these are for the young girls. So yeah.
Absolutely. Dijah, listen, y'all got to get with her, go on that website, get the things that she have. I want to thank you so much for just taking time out with your auntie.
Thank you.
And being here. Yes, indeed. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring you to the back while I make. Is there any closing comments? Is there anything that you want to say as it relates to healing and journey in total?
No, ma'am. Nothing more than just thank you. Thank you for your platform. Thank you for your beautiful podcast and you being yourself. I love you. I love everything that you do. And I'm just happy to be a part of anything that you have going on. And I can't wait till we can go back to Egypt.
Let's just set us free, but that's another thing. We don't have every session on here for me, but look, when he say go, go. When he says stay away from, we stay away from, baby. And I am obedient, okay? But I love to fly out of the country. So, I'm just thankful for right guidance, especially during a troubled time. So we thank God for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and seeing that which we are not able to see. Right guidance. So with that being said, if it's God's will, if it's his will, we will go back. But if it's not, honey, we're gonna stay put. Trust me, I got some things in the works right now that we're gonna do in the best of manners. So thank you so much, Khadijah. May God continue to bless you. Again, DijahBakes.com and Dijah Bakes on everything. Peace and how you say it? Go ahead and say it again.
Peace, everybody.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take Khadijah in the back. Thank you, Khadijah. I know that you have to go, but I want to thank you so very much while I do the announcements. Okay. All right. Love you. All right. So I want to thank you all so much for listening. As we are wrapping this up, I am super, super, super excited because tomorrow we are going to have this beautiful event right here in the city of St. Petersburg, 2213 6th Avenue South, St. Petersburg, Florida. And this is all about wealth building. Look, we got to get out of this generational poverty and continue to create generational wealth. All right. And with that being said, if you do not have my book, to the Repair of the Black Family, we have the Repair of the Black Family anthology. And in this book, you will see that we have 33 powerful authors, with myself as the visionary author, telling our stories, lessons learned, and you actually get 3 repair actions. You can find this book on the Repair of the Black Family.com and Amazon. You can find it on Amazon as well. And so we ask that you continue to support us, to keep this broadcast up and running. Support us at Heal on Purpose, PayPal, Heal on Purpose 19. You can PayPal or Cash App us at Nayyirah 19. Any donations is welcome. So I want to thank you all so very much for tuning in with us today. My words to you is, love ye one another, even as Christ loves you.